Good morning, everyone. I'm on a couple minutes early, but welcome to Presence of Light with Charlie Riverman Bergeron. I was going to try to see if I could get you all here on my, there I am on my iPad, and see if I could scroll and see if I could get your messages today. We'll see. Every day's an adventure. As the title says, it's a brand new day. So welcome. It's a pleasure always to be here with you. Good morning, Sean. Good morning, Joan Marie, Lisa, and good evening. And whatever time of day it is around the world for you, enjoy the day. It's interesting. It's the message came to me this morning that yeah, we've got a new month and a new. Let's start the month off with something new, and what better to renew than ourselves? The interesting thing for me this morning was that the first message of my day became the topic of my show here. And last night I posted on Facebook this meme, or this statement that came to me just before I went to bed. And that, as up in the column, it says, inner fullness occurs when your heart allows meaning and purpose to arise in the moment. And that came about as a result of just letting go of all that I have gone through this week on many different levels: emotional, physical, spiritual, and come to realize that it's perfect. No matter what transpired, it was all a gift to allow me to react in an honest and meaningful way. And that's what that says up on the top there: meaning and purpose. Everything I did this week aligned with meaning and purpose, not the one that my everyday interface with the world would think, but the one that is deep within my heart, the truth of who I am and what I represent here. So, as many of you know, that I'm here to anchor peace, light, and love into all living forms, and also to represent the divine masculine energy, which, as I said before, I became as a result of my near death. Everything was blown open, and I see things very differently than most people do. Doesn't mean I still can't be human and have fun and have faults. We all have that, but it's a deeper meaning to look at life from the perspective of your heart and your purpose. So this is, again, a new month, a new day, an opportunity to begin anew on this wonderful spiral that we call the wheel of life. And let's see what we can do this month as we each seek to embrace ourselves, not anybody else, but ourselves, and become a showcase for the potential of who we are. So the first message that I read this morning was interesting, and that's posted on something else I posted this morning, but I'll read it to you. Your life is a sacred journey, and it's about to change. It's about change, growth, and discovery, movement, transformation, continuously expanding your vision of what is possible, stretching your soul, learning to see clearly and deeply, listening to your intuition, taking courageous challenges at every step along the way. You are on the path, exactly where you are meant to be right now. And I know that doesn't feel like it for many of you. Many times it doesn't feel like that for me as well. And it goes on to say, and from here, you can only go forward, shaping your life story into a magnificent tale of triumph, of healing, of courage, of beauty, of wisdom, of power, of dignity, and of love. And I just thought, how beautiful to have that be presented to me this morning when this is what I was looking at. It's a brand new day. It's a brand new life. It's a brand new world. Everything is brand new. And I can't tell you why I feel like that. I just woke up feeling as if this was another beginning. And what I find lately is this is a repetitive pattern for me. I go through this and then everything gets boring and mundane and overwhelming. And then I'll have this sort of epiphany that says, you know, Charlie, you can let all of that go and start again. Take what serves you, takes what resonates with you, and leave the rest behind. And without judgment, without anger, without frustration, just allow it to slip into the past and give it no more energy. And so, as you all know, my life changed dramatically 27 years ago. And I don't recommend the way it happened for me for anybody, but I basically died in a motorcycle accident. And my life prior to that motorcycle accident wasn't in the shape, manner, or form as you see me now. I wasn't a bad person, although some might say that. But I was totally lost in a world where I didn't necessarily feel I belonged. And as I talked to you this morning, I realized that many people in the world don't feel like what they're doing and where they're at and who they are really fit well. It's sort of like clothing. It's too tight or it's too loose or it's got rips and tears, and we go through this process of judging ourselves. When we do that, usually the outcome is one of despair or anger or frustration or a sense of not loving ourselves. I mean, that's the bottom line. We love ourselves less. And so a little guidance many years ago from my angels, you may call them your guides, doesn't matter. They're not interested in what we call them. They're just interested in our paying attention to these inner voices that we have that are part of our multidimensional reality, that we can talk to ourselves on a level that is not condescending, but encouraging and empowering. And they gave me a little message, and the message was to get a piece of paper, and I'll share this with you. To get a piece of paper, and you don't have to do it right now, but at some point after the show, get a piece of paper and make 2 columns on the paper. Draw a line down the middle. And at the top of one, it doesn't matter which side you use, you want to write what I don't like. And on the other column, what I like. And so it may sound strange to start with the column of what I don't like, but the truth is you will find far more things you don't like than you do like. And do this as a practice. When you get the thought, write it down. Now, obviously, it's very personal, so you don't want to put this piece of paper out where other people can take a peek and then, oh, she doesn't like this, I can poke her with that or poke him with that. Or, it's a very personal journey. And after I wrote my notes this morning, I said, well, you could do this on your computer. You could do it on your cell phone or your tablet. And just make those 2 columns or two different pages. Doesn't, I just did it on one sheet of paper. That's what I had. I lived alone, so I hung it on my wall. I pinned it, and I would do it. And every time I got the thought of something, I don't like asparagus. Okay, write down. And what it is it doesn't matter how mundane or how silly it may appear to you to say, well, that's silly to write that down. That's not important. What you will find at the end of a month, or whatever you set for a time limit, is a pattern in your life that what you don't like is what is not serving you. And what you do like, many times you're not getting, or it's not happening for you. You're missing it, or you wish for it, or you want for it. It's a desire that is not being manifested for you. And you get to clearly get it out of your head and put it on paper and reread it back. So it's like a mirror. And you can actually start to chart a brand new day, a brand new life. Because what we don't like, many times we have more control over that than we think we do. And so we can eliminate those things we don't like. And I am reading the notes here. Yes, it's coming through. So do and don't like about ourselves. Yes. And in general. It doesn't matter. You do not try to discern what the reason why you're doing it. It's just a simple question: what I don't like and what I do like. Or you can use the word love if you so choose. Like has a wider parameter. What we love is, or don't love is more of a pinpoint. And from this first rendition of like and don't like, then you could probably do another one as you start to change. What do I love? What do and then you want to, and this is what's happening. It gets you to look outside of your head at something coming towards you. Because when we do it consciously, we play with it, we can manipulate it, we can put it over here, we can forget about it, we can, I don't want to deal with that. This is what we do. And this is how many of us end up not truly living our lives in the way and manner that is in our highest good and interest. Hamdi says, I like to be in nature. Yes, these are the things. What happens in the end is what you do with this list is you start to focus more on the things that you like to do and look at how you can eliminate many of the ones you don't like. It's not a perfect solution, but it will jumpstart you into seeing yourself from not a point of judgment, but a point of how you feel and how you express that in writing. And so the end result of that list for me was profound, because as I can tell, I said before, the list of things I didn't like was far much longer than the things I liked. And at first that made me a little sad and said, well, gee, I'm really not a very, interesting person. But it also inspired me to say, if I focus on what I love and I look for that and I go for that, you start to attract it. Again, last week I spoke of the law of attraction. This is what we're doing many times because we're caught in a cycle or a loop. We keep attracting and keep calling forth the things that are really not in alignment or in our best interest. So when we begin to shift our conscious awareness, and now we have a list we can focus on, even if it's just slightly, what we do is we start the energy in motion and we get out of that loop and we start getting back onto the spiral of life. So many of you are not stuck. I know many people, I'm stuck, I can't get out of, and somebody's expressed, Lisa, I love you dearly. You're trying to find your purpose after the loss of your son. And that's a trauma that is really hard to, and I use the word hard, I'd like to say challenging, but I don't know what that would feel like because that's not happened to me. And all I can do is feel how difficult that would be. But I can assure you and others who have lost loved ones that this point of deciding what you liked maybe to do with that loved one, or what you didn't like about that loved one, would help you do that as well. And again, it's non-judgmental. It's just looking at something from a point where our energy is detached, because once we put it on the paper, we let it go. And then let it, don't keep going back and just write it on the piece of paper and walk away. And at the end of a month, or what I would recommend a month, that's what I did, then look at the piece of paper and start to see your pathway as to how what can you change? And so this brings us to that inner fullness, is when we can start to fill ourselves with the energies of things we like, things we love, the things we do. We automatically begin to cheer up. We begin to look at the world differently. We don't see it as being as oppressive or as fearful. And the journey begins again. And so that's what I looked at this week. So many people being stuck, everybody just in the same cycle and repeating the same, I'm going to say, hateful things to each other, which is saddening to me, that people can go on social media and really just, for no other reason than their own self-indulgence, bully other people or say nasty things to each other. It's not appealing to me at all. And for those of you who have that happen to you, my advice is to just click unfriend, or whatever you have to do to eliminate those people from your field of view. And I know some of them are family members, but you don't have to. You don't have to take that. That's abuse. And it's time we stood in our own sovereign power and said no to all this abusive behavior. Joni, I'm sorry to hear about your daughter. That's a hard place to be. And I send you love, and all of you who are listening to this who have lost loved ones. There's no part of my body that cannot send you love in the fullest capacity to help you with what you're going through. My, again, purpose here is to continually remind each one of you of how precious you are, of what beautiful beings of light you are, and to let you know that your light right now is needed more than it ever has been in the history of humanity, because we are evolving. And maybe that would be a reason to change your life, is for those loved ones you've lost, and honor them, in honor of them, and know that they're watching, that they're with you always. They're with you in your heart. And I don't have to tell you how many times you're reminded, or you see something that reminds you of them, or they may even leave you little tokens, messages in many ways. I have a friend who, her daughter leaves her dimes. And whenever she finds a dime, she knows that's from her daughter. And so the communication that we have right here, you can also have with those who are on what commonly is called the other side of the veil. The only thing that limits us right now in this world is our own lack of letting go of what no longer serves us. So again, on that like or not like list, some of the things you may have liked and loved, but you no longer do. Don't feel bad about it. Just say, this is who I am now. I've grown, or I've expanded, or and it's not working anymore. So why do we need to live a life that's not working for us? We came here to be beautiful beings, to anchor that soul energy that we are, and communicate and live in hopefully as much peace and harmony and balance as we possibly can, in spite of what you see around the world. All it's showing me and each one of us is how much work we have to do. This is getting to be exciting now, is the fact to know that when we shift and change, everything else shifts and changes with us. So I had another card that I pulled this morning. As you know, my galaxy cards are my sacred meditation cards. And interestingly, that one reads about a new day. You can see it here somewhere. A new day was the title, and perfect. That set my wheels rolling. And it reads like this: I leave behind the pain of the past, which is what we were just talking about. I create my new day full of wondrous things. What does wondrous mean for you? It means something different for everybody. So think about that word, wondrous. I create my new day full of wondrous things. Affirmations for this is, I release my pain. It is no longer who I am, and it does not serve me. And again, there is much pain, especially for all of you who are suffering loss, and I understand that. But you can let some of it go. Allow the steam, as the pot boils, allow the steam to escape. Yeah, there's going to be moments where you can't bear it. But then take a breath and let some of it go. And know that you're not dishonoring anyone, but you're assisting both you and those who you feel the loss over. Because they don't want to feel that either. They want to know that you're safe, you're loving, you're moving on with your life. And it's important that everybody starts to see that there is this concept of separation really is an illusion, and that we can still walk together even if we're not in the same physicality. Next affirmation is, I create a new and wonderful life free of obstacles. So what are the obstacles in your life? Where are the roadblocks in your life? Most of those are things you may not like. And you may not like them because they are obstacles. And so, again, here's that sort of roadmap I want you to play with and say, yeah, that is an obstacle. How I keep coming up to that. It goes away for a while, and it's like I call them gates in a field, and I go through the field, and then there's another fence. I follow along the fence. I say, I know there's a gateway here somewhere, and then I come to the gateway, and it's locked, and it's too high to climb, and how do I get through that? And then where it gets stuck. So it's an obstacle. It's holding us back from becoming the beautiful, loving presence that we truly are. Next affirmation is, my days are expanded with a new direction and new success. So here in this point, it's asking you to look forward, which many of us don't do when we are depressed and we're suffering, because it's too painful to look forward. So we keep ourselves locked in this moment, which there is only this moment, but it would be a much better moment if we weren't trapping ourselves in it out of fear and pain of moving on. And then today, I am in control of my world. What a powerful statement that is. I am in control of my world. How many of you don't feel like you have any control over your world or your life? And I just want you to think about that. Don't have to answer me at this point, but look at where you feel you're out of control, or things are out of control. And realize that most of them are correctable. Unless you're in prison, or you're physically impaired in some way, and so you have lack of control of your life in that respect. But even then, you can still free yourself. We need to free our thought. We need to free our thought from all of this judgmental thinking. Come back into our hearts and become, as somebody saying, amazing, joyful, and magical. And so this is great. It's an important process for wherever you are around the earth. And say somebody's saying in Iraq, and they need medical assistance. There are people in this world who are not having food. They don't have clean water. They're ridden with disease. They have oppressive governments. All of those are realities. But it's what you do in your heart. It's how you make every day the best day you can make it. That is your power. Nobody can take that away from you. The only way that can be taken away from you is to take your life away from you. But as long as we can breathe and think, we have the amazing power to recover personally from all the suffering we think we have. The creator of life did not create suffering beings. It is not a punishing creator. It's a loving, benevolent, graceful, divine, balanced, harmonic, exquisite energy being that we have never been separated from, except in our thoughts and through our actions. And so this brand new day, what I want you to do is make those simple lists and take as slow a step as you feel you need to, but start making every day a brand new day. And I know you can do it because I did it. And my story is too long to tell now. But if I can do it, anyone can do it. I love you all so very much, and I'm so glad I got to see some of your remarks and as I could talk. And so this is a new day for me. This is what I've been trying to do for over a year and been unsuccessful because I want to connect deeper with each of you. And I know that my limited technical experiences have hindered that. I have a book in my hand and I want to read this message as I leave. And it's called Painting Peace, The Bridge to Eternity, Awakening Creative Consciousness, written by a woman, Sabrina Bretsky, who back in 2010, I met her on Facebook, and she was an artist and a writer, and this was about her life, her journey. And she was just sharing her story, just as we all do. And there is one paragraph here that I think is very pertinent to what we're talking about today. And this is her quote. "The most important things are not that which we can see, but rather the things we can't see. The energies we feel, such as love, hope, creativity, peace, inspiration, and compassion." So I want you to deepen your acceptance of all of those beautiful attributes. Work on your list of likes and don't likes. Don't judge yourself. Just look at it as a roadmap that help you go where you have longed to go for a long time. You have the power because you are the power. I thank you. I love you. I respect you. And I say that to the waters in your bodies, and know that their flowing forth will make the greatest difference in the world that has ever been seen. I'm complete. Have a great week, and know that if nobody else says this to you, I love you. Bye-bye.